Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Let us recite the words of the Enlightened One and try to understand the meanings thereof. All the words of Buddha are full of ambrosia, so inspiring to the students of Vipassana, giving proper guidance to the students of Vipassana. But this evening we shall take just one or two suttas which are directly related to our practice. We shall recite one or two suttas pertaining to Vedana. The reality of Vedana, realizing the reality of Vedana and the part it plays in our bondage and the part it plays in our liberation. This was the discovery of Buddha. None before him. Of course, in the long past, any other Buddha would have done the same thing. But there is a big gap between one Buddha and the other Buddha. Before him, in the immediate past, this was lost. Nobody knew. And after him also, in most of the literature of India, we find such advices: don't get entangled in the objects pertaining to your sense doors. But nobody, no literature anywhere talks about Vedana. This is the great discovery of this enlightened person. Analyzing the truth of mind and matter, not merely at the intellectual level. An analytical study of the truth of mind and matter at the experiential level made him understand what important part Vedana is playing. All others will say, these 6 sense doors and their objects, keep yourself away from them, don't get entangled in them. Well, this is good if somebody can come out of it. But that is only training the surface level of the mind. At the depth of the mind, constantly there is a sensation on the body, constantly. Kaya samphassaja vedana, the vedana which arises because of the contact of body. Contact of body, the atoms getting in contact with atoms, or the mind coming in contact with the atoms. There is a sensation. And when there is a sensation, pleasant or unpleasant, there is a reaction of craving or aversion that is constantly going on at the deeper level of the mind. And so long as this is happening, you are not out of bondage. Just diverting the attention does not help. You have to face your problem. And that is why his teaching gives so much importance to Vedana. Because the tanha, the craving, the aversion arises only with the base of Vedana. Vedana paccaya tanha. Not just 6 sense doors paccaya tanha. 6 sense doors, salayatan paccaya phassa. There is a contact with the object, related object. There is a sensation on the body. Phassa paccaya Vedana. And Vedana paccaya tanha. This was the teaching of the Enlightened One. And this is what you practice when you practice Vipassana. Vedana plays such an important role. Now let us see his words about this Vedana. Tisso ima bhikkhave Vedana. When he says bhikkhu, he means not merely the monks. Of course, monks are there, so many around him, but it also taught this technique to the householders. So everyone, whether one is a monk or a householder, those who are walking on the path are bhikkhus. What are these three Vedanas? Katama Tisso, Sukha Vedana, Dukkha Vedana, Addukkhama Sukha Vedana. Three types of Vedanas, pleasant, unpleasant, and those which are neither pleasant nor unpleasant. Sukha bhikkhave Vedana, Dukkhato datthabba. When you experience pleasant sensation, the Lord says that when you experience pleasant sensation, understand this is unpleasant sensation. The dukkha, the suffering, the misery is inherent there because it's not permanent. And you develop attachment to it. And when it passes away, you are miserable. Not only that, if you start playing this game, all your practice will keep you running for pleasant sensation and you can't come out of it and you can't go to the stage where you are fully liberated. That is why if you want to move further on the path of liberation, understand, whenever a pleasant sensation comes, take it as unpleasant sensation. Sukha bhikkhave vedana dukkhato datthabba. Dukkha vedana sallato datthabba. And he says, whatever is unpleasant sensation, take it as a great misery, like an arrow, the thrust of an arrow, or a spear in you. Take it as a big misery. It is a big misery. This arrow is arrow of your craving. This arrow is the arrow of your attachment to this cycle of birth and death, birth and death. Countless life you have been suffering because of this arrow, and one doesn't know how long, how many lives in future you will keep on rolling in this misery. Understand, this is misery. The arrow of your attachment towards the power, the rotation of the life, death, this wheel, the rotation of the wheel of misery. So take it as a great misery. And then, addukkhama sukha vedana anicchato datthabba. When a sensation which is neither pleasant nor unpleasant, your wisdom must arise. Whenever you experience a sensation neither pleasant nor unpleasant, the danger is one may feel that, well, look, it is neither pleasant, so no craving is arising. It is nor unpleasant, so no aversion is arising. Now I am a liberated person, neutral sensation. But you can't be a liberated person unless you understand that even these neutral sensations have the same characteristic of arising, passing, arising, passing, arising, passing. So whenever you experience a neutral sensation, you have to understand its nature of arising, passing, passing. That is why he says, anicchato datthabba. The word dattha or pasana is for the experience, not just seeing the shape or color, etc. of the object. Yato kho bhikkave bhikkhuno sukha vedana dukkhato dittha hoti, dukkha vedana sallato dittha hoti, addukkhama sukha vedana anicchato dittha hoti, chacche tanahang vivattaye sanyojanam manabhisamaya or antamakasi dukkhassa. A meditator who takes the pleasant sensation as really miserable, who takes the unpleasant sensation as deeply miserable, and neither pleasant nor unpleasant neutral sensation in its true characteristic of arising and passing away, such a person is observing the truth properly. Observing the truth properly, he cuts the bondage of tanha, of craving, the bondage which has bound him gets unbounded. He observes the truth about this imaginary false ego and comes out of it, and thus he comes out of all the miseries, all the miseries. Yo sukh sukhang dukkhato ad dukkham dakhe sallatu ad dukkham sukhang santang ad dakhe nang anicchatu. One who observes the pleasant sensation as unpleasant and the unpleasant sensation as a great misery of an arrow, and the neither pleasant nor unpleasant sensation, neutral sensation, usually a meditator, even at the surface level of the mind, many times comes across a situation where one says neither it is pleasant nor it is unpleasant. It's true. But when Buddha talks about that neither pleasant nor unpleasant, he is talking at a very deep level of the mind. At a very deep level of the mind, you are passing through these sensations arising, passing. You pass through this bhanga, you pass through a flow, very pleasant, and then you pass through a stage where there is so much of calmness, tranquility, calm, tranquility. And you feel, well, here nothing is arising, nothing is passing away. So this is the final goal. I have reached the Nibbanic stage. Many students keep coming to me saying that I observed Nibbana, I have experienced Nibbana. What did you experience? And he talks about this tranquility, deep tranquility, which remains for some time. And I advise them, whenever next time you come across this, then examine whether your sense organs are they working or not. If they are working, then no, you are still in the sensorium, sensual field. You have not reached the stage which is beyond the sensual field. So this is a midway rest house. Anybody who gets stuck to this midway rest house can never reach the final goal. So whenever one reaches this stage of deep tranquility, try to understand and try to experience the nature of arising, passing in that experience that you are having. And this will make you move further towards the goal. And one who does like this, Save sammaddaso bhikkhu parijanati vedana. So vedana parinyaya ditte dhamme anasavo. Kayasya veda dhammatho sankhyan no peti vedagu. One who is observing the truth of Vedana to its ultimate end, that means the entire field of Vedana, that is Parijana, the entire field of Vedana. And how can one say that I observe the entire field of Vedana? That is only possible when you transcend the field of Vedana. Then you can say I have gone beyond that boundary of Vedana. And when one does that, such a person, when he dies, because he has become an arhat now, ditte dhamme anasavo, all the impurities have gone away. Such a person, when he dies, does not come to this world again. The world which can be described in words. He has reached a stage which is indescribable. The stage which is beyond the field of lokas, the entire field of these senses, cannot be described in words. He has reached that stage and he won't come back. That means he won't take a birth again. He is beyond the cycle of death and birth. And this is the aim of a meditator, to reach that stage. And in a small sutra like this, the Lord has given the entire path, the entire technique of reaching the final goal.